What's going on, guys? Run it back with another replay for you. We've got a showdown on the Glade of the Everqueen between the Demons of Chaos and helmed by Tim the Wilder and the forces of the Wood Elves, helmed by Hitman Hippo here. Spellweaver of Darkness, just, powering up in the back. We've got some Super Saiyan action going on here. I mean, literally almost looks like a Super Saiyan with the I don't even know what to call that hairstyle. Dragon Ball Z type stuff going on there. But whatever. Using Power of Darkness to get the extra reserves. And Power Recharge for the super effective magic that the Wood Elves have access to. Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. Going to be pushing up onto the number 3 objective here. Skull Cannons for Tim the Wilder with the Noxbringer. A Herald of Tzeentch using Chromatic Tome here to get the recharge and the reserves going himself. Not quite as good as Power of Darkness, but that's fine. He has a shield that he can use it on, so, can endure through most of the damage that it does to him. And will replenish that barrier shortly. Blue Fire and Pink Fire, very efficient spells here to go against the Wood Elves, who are very lightly armored, obviously. Skull Cannon shots coming in here, not doing a ton right now. A little bit haggard on the accuracy at times still. Good shot from the Noxbringer, though, doing nice damage. Vortex catching one of the poor Glade Riders here and roasting the body. Definitely being sent to the warp after that one. And going to be ripped apart by some demonic entities, I'm sure. Bloodletters are going to be the majority of the infantry, which is very small. Only 8 units in the starting army. Tim the Wilder is bringing out a little bit more now, the Frolickers Bubonic being the first summon. Wildwood Rangers with the changes coming out here. Very good bonus versus infantry on these guys. They do also have Guardian of the Wildwood, which gives them more stats when there's a terror-causing unit within 55 meters. There are quite a few of those on the field here, but these Skull Cannons don't actually cause terror. So, Wildwood Ranger's not going to get much of a benefit if it's rolling over them, and that'd be a really nice position for the Skull Cannon to be in, running over those guys, actually. Bit of a miss there from the Skull Cannon, but the Wood Elves do oblige by kind of running into it. A little bit of a whiff on the Blue Fires there, but pretty good trading from Tim the Wilder so far. 500 value out of the gate. Hitman Hippo really struggling to get anything going right now. These Skull Cannons and the Noxbringer are insanely armored. I mean, this is 90 armor. Skull Cannons have 110, so the Hagbane tip's not going to do much against these guys. They do have 7 AP on their missiles, but they've taken quite a few casualties in the early going here. And we actually get the Herald landing on top of this unit, which I think is a very interesting choice. But I suppose not a bad situation and a little bit of friendly fire there. The Noxbringer didn't get the memo about the positioning that the Frolickers Bubonic were in. Takes a big chunk of their HP off, actually, so unfortunate for Tim. I think actually doing more damage to his own forces at this point than Hitman Hippo's skirmishers have been. And the Glade Riders, one of them very beaten up and pushed back now. Good shot from the Noxbringer on the Swift Shiver Shards, who are trying to shoot at the Skull Cannon. Good micro, just dodging around those missiles a little bit. Going to be pulling back with the Skull Cannon. Swift Shiver Shards are quite punishing against the Skull Cannons. Despite not having AP, they do have the magical ammunition, so they get through the Fizz Res and just do that little bit extra that can make all the difference. And these things don't have the best leadership either, so they don't have to get that beaten up before they start crumbling. A little bit of action going in here. Nice shots from the Skull Cannon on the Wild Hunters of Kurnus. Nasty damage against them, and a good use of Pink Fire there on the Wildwood Rangers, getting some good effect against them. Skull Cannons and Noxbringer continuing to fire. Tim the Wilder with a big value lead, and has been holding the middle objective for quite a while now. Doubled up on points from Hitman Hippo, and that's going to come into play later in the game, potentially. Having all this infantry, I know you don't want to take too much damage from the skirmishers, but sometimes you do kind of need to eat it and take the damage on the nose just to get the tickets rolling. Playing this very cagey game with the Demons of Chaos when they have Skull Cannons and the Noxbringer and really good shaft clearing spells just maybe not the way to go about this matchup. We've got a little bit of action from the Glade Riders, Spears, and Wildwood Rangers pushing up on the home objective. Tim not panicking, though, just slowly maneuvering units around, making sure that he's getting the right counters out onto the field. Skull Cannon with a nice shot onto the Glade Riders here, getting a little bit of extra damage with that Vortex. Killing some models, doing some work against them. Hounds of the Blood Hunt have come out. Looks like they've been in combat a little bit here. 170 value on them. Getting a little bit of healing from Gore Feast there. A couple of their models trying to escape, counting as in combat. Good shot from the Skull Cannon. Getting some more kills on those Glade Riders. And the Plague Toads do move in. They take a Melkoth, which is going to be very cost efficient against them. But getting on top of the Wild Hunters of Kurnus, who are very low, been getting worked down by those Skull Cannons. Noxbringer. And some magic. And now Furies of Khorne flying over the top. Going to get a rear charge here, potentially. No, looks like they're going to chase down the Glade Riders. Glade Riders with Spears, looks like they broke with a decent amount of models and HP left. So chasing them down, not a bad idea. And the Wildwood Rangers getting run over by the Skull Cannons, who are so much better in melee combat than they used to be. With the big weapon strength buff and the reduced number of models that they're spreading their damage out over, they're much more consistent actually doing stuff in melee. More Wild Riders moving out onto the field, taking a little bit of damage from the Vortexes, and actually getting munched on by the Hounds of the Blood Hunt since they got trapped up here. That Vortex from the Skull Cannon's very good at locking stuff in place. So Tim the Wilder definitely taking full advantage there and just chasing these guys to the edge of the map. Honestly, not a bad idea. You know, the Wood Elves are going to have to respond with something to go after them. Spellweaver of Dark just hiding out in the back. Not wanting to die, did use all of the uses of Power of Darkness to get the extra recharge. Is grinding back a little bit of value, but still down by about 1,600 is very, very unfavorable. And now the Branch Wraith fighting against Bloodletters. Bloodletters are very good at killing foot characters, actually. They have really good AP, they've got a bonus versus infantry, and just surrounding units like this, they'll be hitting onto the back of someone's going to be hitting the back of whatever you're fighting, where they are not getting the benefits of their melee defense. And the Branch Wraiths are quite squishy in terms of MD anyways. So Bloodletter's taking full advantage, but they're going after the rest of this Eternal Guard, locking up on the home objective here, Frolickers. No, these are not the Frolickers Bubonic. Frolickers Bubonic up here with the Bloodletters, actually, and regular Nurglings. Just sacrificing themselves, fighting against the Wildwood Rangers. Last few models of those guys still fighting. Big jump onto the middle from the Demons, just chewing through the Winterheart Guard. Lots of Blade Singers going down. Another Branch Wraith over here casting Melkoths and some other spells, trying to get some value. Not a lot to speak of, though, from the magic, and that's been a big difference in this game. Tim has gotten pretty good use out of the magic. 1,385 value and counting on the Herald here. Another good pink fire going through the War Dancers, who just took about a quarter of their health, man. Now Nurglings going in to fight them. Nurglings will definitely lose this combat, but some Furies flying over the top to go assist their brethren, helping the Plague Toads and the other unit of Furies back here, who are all over the mobility of the Wood Elves. Wild Riders getting rear charged, very punishing. Melkoths coming in. Luckily, that spell resistance mitigating a good bit of that damage on the Furies and giving them more than enough time to chew down these Wild Riders, who have gotten absolutely wrecked here, man. No time at all before they are getting destroyed. And just to add insult to injury, an army ability being layered over the top from the Demons of Chaos. Not really even hitting anything, but just sending a message that the Wood Elves, they need to give up the ghost here. Very healthy Noxbringer, used all its ammo, 1,800 value on this bad boy. And pretty good in melee combat, decent stats here. Definitely going to be able to just knock over whatever it's going to be getting on top of. Has the terror as well to just terror blob various Wood Elf units around the battlefield. Branch Wraith bravely fighting these Skull Cannon here. I'm not sure what the Skull Cannon's up to. I think Tim has this thing on target ground right now. Not 100% sure what's going on there. Very interesting. Maybe he was trying to give the melee attack order onto the Branch Wraith. And gets charged by the Glade Riders, and its leadership is close to breaking. These guys only have 60 leadership, so they can crumble out at very inopportune times, but good buffering with the Plague Toads and Nurglings onto the Glade Riders, and the Skull Cannon can turn about face now, chase these guys down, regen ammo and HP. Man, these Plague Toads have been nasty. They've been blocking up the Glade Riders really nicely, doing a lot of damage to them as well. Pretty good value on these nasty little monsters. Frolickers, Bubonic. Not a lot of value to speak of on them, but they've been out here this whole time, just healing. They've got that passive heal and the melee reflection, as well as a little bit of extra leadership in melee combat, so just being very durable and annoying. As always, you love to see that from them, and the Herald continuing to just roll around the battlefield, casting spells, cackling like a madman, and charging down Deepwood Scouts here. Really nice from them. And these Swift Shiver Shards, man, everything else has been kind of a wash for Hitman Hippo in a lot of ways, but not the Swift Shivers. Maybe some more of those guys would have been better. Because so far this mobility, the Wild Riders and the Glade Riders have just been they've been abysmal so far this game. Really not holding up at all. Skull Cannon's doing a really good job here of getting on top of War Dancers and rolling through the Eternal Guard. Doing nasty damage to them in the meantime. 1600 HP on this thing, just about paying for itself. 1050 value thereabouts, and I do believe the other Skull Cannon did die somewhere on the battlefield. So that's a little unfortunate for Tim, but we'll check out what kind of value it got in the late game. And he's more than got this locked up at this point, I think. Wood Elves are very much just making desperation plays to hold on to their back objective. You can see Demons of Chaos are going to flip it here. These Hagbane Tips trying to fire their bows and get a little bit of value in return. Hounds of the Bloodhunt come out to chase down the other Hagbane Tip, and they're probably not going to be able to get away from these guys. Very equivalent speeds, and these guys are immune to contact effects, so the poison doesn't matter for them. Ripping apart those Hagbane Tips. And the other one, also getting hit by some Furies, getting torn to pieces. Spellweaver comes out. She's dying to the Fury Swarms now, too. That is going to be game. Really dominant win by Tim there. Really nice micro, doing a very good job of utilizing the skirmishing in the early game to trade very efficiently against one of the better missile factions in the game. Demons of Chaos in the past, you really wouldn't have thought they'd be so good at this, but 2300 on the Noxbringer, both Skull Cannons paying for themselves. Herald doing really nicely for himself, and some of the Bloodletters not doing too hot, but one of them making up for the mediocre performance of the others, and just swarming out onto the field with the mobility and doing a good job of shutting down the Wood Elves, who were really trying to get some effect out of their shock cavalry, and unfortunately not able to find the space to do so. And Wildwood Rangers didn't do badly, 2 of them, but 1 only got 80 value. Pretty brutal stuff, so maybe not the most efficient unit in this particular matchup. Maybe just more Swift Shiver Shards. You can see this one, 1500 value. I feel like a couple more of them would have been a lot more difficult to deal with. They would have been a very good answer for the Furies. They would have been good against the Plague Toads. It would have been good against the Fiends if the Fiends had come out. And they can do damage to the Skull Cannons and the Noxbringer, like I've said, as well as also against the Bloodletters. They'd be really nice. So, you know, a little, maybe counterpicking himself a little bit is Hitman Hippo here. But it's always worth trying out new stuff. No shame in it. And did a very good job of scrapping into the end and trying to make something happen in that game, despite having some less than efficient units in the opening build. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be catching y'all again next time. GG's. Peace.